Any process of change begins with setting out a vision. But to move forward, you need to explain the idea and get people involved.
Well, I think the first really important point is know what you're commissioning for. What are the outcomes you're trying to get? Ensure you've had those discussions with your customers. Be clear with them that you share a vision of the direction for social care for your area, for their area.
For providers, a specific and considered strategy can signpost the way ahead.
It's about trying to identify what is it that you're actually going to deliver, what the outcomes are going to be. You then, after that, of course, can find ways of testing the outcomes, but outcomes have to come before monitoring, before process, and before you actually start.
Organisational change is seldom straightforward.
Because we recognise there are some challenges in making the transformation, the government has made grants available to councils to help them manage this transformation. But we hope using that money well, they'll create a more cost-effective system in the future.
Building a person-focused approach involves not just a cultural shift, but a sea change in why and how we do things.
When we talk about personalisation, we must remember that we should talk about the whole economy. It is not just simply a bit of social care or a bit of the... It's actually about transforming the way we think of ourselves. And I think the 60s and 70s generation, they are going to be a group that will be wanting to jump out of planes when they're in their 80s, you know. They won't want to go into this cycle of saying, I now stop. I think that's great news, and we should celebrate that and not try to curtail it.
And if we involve service users at the outset, there's a much better chance of providing the services they identify and expect.
When it all began at first, I mean, we had lots of meetings about what we wanted, and I think we've got it.
Stories of positive experience add momentum to believing that we can learn from each other and share what seems to work.
What we're not very good about is sharing those best practice, those good practice examples, and sharing success. We tend to be a bit more famous for what we get wrong than what we get right.
And are you optimistic? You've described...
yes. You can't do these jobs if you're not optimistic. You're no use to anyone. So you have to be optimistic, but it has to be grounded optimism. It can't be unrealistic optimism. And that means that some things might take a little longer than we want. But you've got to get out of bed on a Monday morning thinking you can do it.
Well, hopefully we've moved a hell of a long way, but I'm very optimistic. But also we need to make sure that the right mechanisms are in place to provide the levers for people to learn from good practice, to look at the type of improvements that can be developed, not through over-regulation, but through better performance and better understanding of what the local market is.
People who want to sit and wait and see what's going to happen, they'll soon get left behind. And of course the biggest challenge they'll have is actually they won't find they've got the money to meet tomorrow's challenges. So they've got to start doing that today. Otherwise, they really will be stuck.
Whoever we are, whatever our situation, having choice about what we do and who shares our lives gives us dignity and makes us happy.
I get a choice about myself, and I choose by my key worker. So I'm quite pleased.
With independence comes self-esteem, and supporting individuals to make their own decisions and shape their own lives is the hallmark of good social care.
Right, I used to live with my mum and my dad and my sister.
Are you happier now than before?
Yeah.
You reckon you are?
Yeah.
What's done it? What's made you happier, do you think?
Being independent.
The best social care undoubtedly transforms people's lives. There is no doubt about that. The challenge I think we face in social care is ensuring that the very best of social care is available to absolutely everybody who uses it. But at the heart of social care and any caring relationship is the relationship between those people who are receiving care and support and those people providing care and support. Too often we've been captured by a relationship where the professional knows best and people need to be grateful that they've received a service. And I think that's where we need to focus our efforts. And I believe that by ensuring we've got this alignment, we really will achieve this cultural shift that's required if people are going to receive personalised care where they're in support. We can't think a way to this, we've actually got to act a way to this.
If we don't succeed in implementing putting people first, we run the risk of having a system which is completely unsustainable, both financially and in terms of the demographic trends we're seeing in the population. Within the next 10 years, the social care system operating in the way that it has operated for the last 10 years will cease to be a sustainable enterprise.
Person-centred planning reaches out across a range of care needs. Janie's diagnosis of inoperable cancer doesn't mean that she wants to give up control of her care plan, an independence she cherishes.
I'm actually in charge of my own package of care, so I can tailor what do I need on a day-to-day basis, which enables me to stay in my own home, living my life as an independent woman, a wife, a daughter, a member of my family and a member of the community.
As the advancing illness brought on disability, Janie wanted to set down in writing how she felt and why independence mattered so much.
When I first became disabled, and I knew that I needed to accept some paid support in some way, but it was very difficult to make that transition for myself. And this is called dependence. I want to be independent, not hell-bent on guilt, 'cause I can't do. Guilt when I sit still. I watch you clean and wash and shine and do my thing. It's my thing.